Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in this quick tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how we can create a simple movie poster design on Canva. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into it. Now the first thing to do is to import your picture into Canva like I already did, and after that you make the necessary adjustment and position it the way you want to position. Then you go over to duatones. Now duatones is basically to just change the colors and adjust it to your preferred tastes. You can always change the brightness, and you can change the saturation and the highlights. So you just randomly pick till you find what you want, so you can pick and adjust your colors. So that's the first step in whatever I do when it comes to um, editing the colors of the clothes. If I don't want to use the normal process of editing, so I'll just go on to speed this up for the other pictures. At this point, I'm done editing the pictures and using the duatones and playing around it to make sure they all fit into what I want and they are looking all perfect. Now the next thing is I go to elements and search for a circle white blur. Then I bring it in and increase the size a bit, and then I send it to the back. I believe we all know how to send things to the back. I adjust it and then I send it to the back of everything. The next thing I do is to find a black gradient blur with a circle inside of it, and then I bring it in because I want a little darkness to the design, and I also send that to the back of everything. Then I bring in this fire looking picture. I don't know what I searched for, but I just searched for flames or fire picture and I got this. And I'm also going to use the duatones to adjust it after I send it to the back, maybe to a particular taste of mine, or I might just use filter to find a one that's a perfect filter that matches what the outfits of the soldiers are, and then I will figure out the next thing to do. Well, this is looking good, but it doesn't really fit what I want, so I think this is perfect. But then I have to find something that looks like it, and this is the perfect one, and I'm going to go with this. And from there I go to elements. On elements, I search for a blur, but specifically not just any blur. I think I'll be searching for a white blur, or let's say a square blur, because I need a square blur to be able to give me a shape that is going to cover the soldiers the way I want. It's going to be like a W when I'm going to use it, so it's going to be a square blur. So you can also search for a square blur, or basically when it comes to Canva, the only way you can get certain things done is using blurs, so we'll be using blur a lot. So this is a square blur, but I don't really like this one, so I'll search for another one that I think is better. Okay, I think I found a perfect one that is going to work for me, and now I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to rotate it, to be like in a triangle format, and then I'll take it down and place it there. Then I duplicate take it this other way. You can see it's forming a shape that looks like a W. I'll also duplicate it and take another one to the left side. Now I've fully covered the down area. I'll send it to the back and bring one a bit forward. Send this one to the back too and make the necessary adjustments to it. So now I've successfully achieved what I want to achieve. The next thing I'll do is to make certain adjustments to the image. Then after that I'll go on elements and I'll search for flare, because I need to add a little bit of flare to the design. So I'll pick the first one there or the second here, then increase the size and send it behind the first soldier or the first two soldiers. Then I'll duplicate and also send it behind the second one. I'll also increase the size a bit. I'll also duplicate it and send it and take it towards the head of the other soldier and send it to the back. This gives great value difference between the two soldiers or the three soldiers. The next thing I'm going to do is to go to text and type in the name of this movie. So I call this one Squad X. So I'm just going to type Squad X and position it below and then increase the size and make sure it's at the center of my design, and then I'll make adjustments to the blur. And I don't think I like this font, so I'm just going to change this font while I also adjust it a bit. I think I'm going to try something different. I think this looks perfect. I like the fonts. I like the fonts, and I think I'm going to go with this. The next thing I'm going to do is to go over to elements and search for a fighter jets that I want to add to this design, since it's a military movie. So I'm just going to speed up the process to that. I finally found the fighter jet that I need. So what I'm going to do is to make adjustments, send it to the back, then I will bring a blur to the front of it, so just create a little bit of a shade so it will not overshadow the name of the movie. And I'll make various adjustments. I think even the name of the movie is kind of big, so I'm going to reduce it a bit too. Then I'll also bring in some helicopters, and next thing I'll go over to flares. From element, I'll search for flares there, but I'll use a white flare and then take it one of the helicopters, send it behind, then create another one, send it also behind the second helicopter. I'll also duplicate it after increasing the size. I'll duplicate it and bring it to in fact, I'll place it on all the helicopters. Now this is just to create a value difference because I have something to achieve later. Then I'll bring in this blur, forgotten what I had to search for to get this blur. Then when I bring in this blur, I will reduce the opacity after sending it to the back and making sure it's at the middle, and I'll rotate it a bit to achieve what I want to achieve. Then I will send it to the back. I think that's at 60% it is fine. I'll also bring in the name of the actors, the producers into my canvas, and then I'll make adjustments to the curved blur. I think that's the name of that blur, and I'll further reduce it. I'll also adjust the name of the movie because I think it's still kind of it's big, so I think I'm still going to adjust it and make it smaller, but I think I'm going to increase the tracking, right? Yeah, so you go over to spacing and then you increase the splitter spacing, so it's going to allow the name to breathe against every other element there, and you're sure that everything is in the middle like I'm adjusting. So I think this is perfect at this point. So Another thing that I would also do is, since we achieved this, I'll still go over to elements. I'll still just try to adjust, sorry, before I move to elements. On elements, I'm just going to search for a transparent texture. So I've picked one and I'll increase the size. Then I'll also go for a waterproof like, or a liquid like texture that is transparent. Then I've picked one, then I'll increase it to the text or in a particular way that I like. I don't want it covering the main design, but I just want it to add like an effect to the design. So I'm just going to play around it, and then that'll be major. In fact, 80% of the design is already done at this point. We just have a couple of things to add, and then I'll also reduce the opacity so that it's not overshadow the main characters of the design. So you reduce the opacity or the transparency, and we are good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to add what we call a black cloud, because I just feel the whole design is kind of bright. So still on elements, you search for dark clouds, and in dark clouds there we'll bring it into the design. Now I'm just going to go ahead and speed everything up so achieve the desired result I want to achieve. Now while playing around this, the next thing we are going to do is to ensure that everything is sent to the back, and we are going to export this design and import it back into our canvas. It's on a new canvas entirely, and then we'll edit it further. Now all you have to do is to create a new canvas, and then you import your design. Now our design has been imported, so we'll expand it, and the next thing we are going to do is to go over to the edit layer, and then we'll adjust it. The one thing I love to do is to increase the sharpness and clarity, especially when I just import a new and already designed stuff. Then I also go into the colors and edit the colors to suit whatever intentions I have on my mind, to get what to give me the feel that I like. I think you should play around. You can play around the hue and the saturation, and then from there you can choose what you want. After that, you go over to the duotones, because that's the place that's going to help to give you more, like to create a color balance to whatever you have designed. You can go on the duotones, or you can first try the filter. For me, I prefer using the duotones, but I can play around both of them and see the one that gives me what I want. If I check the filters and it's not giving me anything that looks like what I want, then I go over to the duotones and start making adjustments. Once I get a particular thing that I like, I then move back to the photo adjustments layer. That means to edit the stuff, the design. I now play around with the hue and the tints and some of those settings. I just play around it to give me what I want. I play with the temperature, and I play with the tint of the design, of the edit layer, to actually figure out what works for me and what looks pleasing in the eyes. I also play with the highlights, the contrast, and still touch the hue and the saturation a bit. You should try all those things, and it's going to give you what you want, because that is what I do, and I think it helps a lot to create color balance between the designs. So the last thing I'm going to do is to go over to text and then add my brand name, Cozy Studio. So I'm just going to type it out and add it to the top of the design to show that I designed it, and the design was done in Canva. So it's not like it's necessary, but it's just something I like doing. So I'm just going to do that and speed it up. So the last thing we are going to go is to go over to the duotones layer and decide on how we want our design to look finally. And this is the final color grading in a sense, or making like color balance to everything. So I'm just going to go over and speed up the process. You can see I've already picked up a particular duotone that I feel, so I'm just going to adjust the duotones. I'm just going to adjust the colors, from especially the shadow and the highlights. I'm just going to speed everything up. You can play around with it and to achieve the same result. The last thing I'm going to do is also to go over to the adjustments layer, and then I'm going to increase the highlights, play around some of the things like the black and white. I'm just going to play around it, and then our design is ready. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can also drop a message in the comment section on designs you would like to see. Thank you. See you on the next one.